Good evening. Welcome to the Livonia Public Schools Board of Education special meeting of June 27th, 2016. Let me see here. Mr. Johnson, will you please take the roll?
Thank you, President Burton. Mr. Centers?
Here.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Here.
Mrs. Bonifield is absent. Mr. Johnson is here. Mrs. McDonald?
Here.
Mrs. Laura is absent. President Burton?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. As you've noticed, we have two of our board members who are absent tonight, but we do have a quorum to conduct our very short agenda, but important business that we wanted to come back in and take care of before we all break for the summer. If you are watching from home, welcome. Give a very special welcome to several of you who have been very faithful listeners for a long, long time. Those of you who are in the audience, we're especially happy that you're here. Those who are in the audience tonight are here for the ratification, or the board acceptance, rather, of 3 of our contracts with our employee groups. And we are so appreciative of all the work that our employees do all year long. And we are exceptionally happy when we can get contracts ratified and folks can go home for the summer having that important work done. The agendas, if you're looking for an agenda and you're here in the audience tonight, they can be found just outside our door on the table. There are also found there blue slips for audience communications. If you're following along from home and you'd like an agenda, you can find the one on our website, and that is at www.livoniapublicschools.org. If you hover over the school board tab, you can drop down to agendas and follow right along. The next item on our agenda this evening is audience communications. I don't have any blue slips. Are there any members of the audience that would like to participate in audience communication this evening? Seeing none, we will move on. The next item on our agenda is item 3, approval of contract for seals. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. McDonald.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District enter into a 2-year agreement with the Supervisory Employees Association, Livonia Schools, which agreement has been ratified by SEALS members. Said contract is to commence July 1st, 2016 and expire June 30th, 2018.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, a motion by Mrs. McDonald, supported by Mrs. Jarvis. And Mr. Winery, would you like to address this for the board?
Yes, thank you. The Board of Education, through its designated representatives, has been meeting with members and representatives of this unit. An agreement's been reached between the parties, and the staff recommends that the Board of Education approve this tentative agreement insofar as it represents a fair settlement and is consistent with the guidelines laid out by the Board of Education.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the superintendent or the board members? No? Seeing that. Was that a yes or no?
No.
No? Oh,
Nope,
nope, sorry. I heard someone started to talk over there.
Nope.
All righty. We are very, very thankful, as we said, and appreciative of the negotiating teams. There's an awful lot of folks that go into crafting these employee agreements, and we are just very, very thankful. We're very appreciative of the work that our employees do year-round. Mrs. Oakes, is there anything you'd like to add to any of this?
I was going to, when we conclude
Okay.
the voting for this evening,
Go ahead.
I would very much like to, yes.
That's fine. We're going to have 3 contracts that we're voting on this evening, so we'll call on you at the end of that.
Thank you so much.
Yep. We have with us in the audience this evening Dave Gluth and Glenn McCorkindale, who are going to represent the group and who are going to sign on the contracts after the vote is taken this evening. Any other questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mrs. McDonald, supported by Mrs. Jarvis. Mr. Johnson, will you please take the roll?
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. Centers?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson says yes. President Burton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And Dave and Glenn, if you'd like to come on up, we'd like to thank you and take care of all the signing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're right underneath here. And then it's, yes. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Glenn, so much.
You're welcome. Congratulations. Thanks.
Dave, thanks for all your hard work. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate your work.
The next item on our agenda is item 4, approval of contract for leads. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton,
Mrs. McDonald.
move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District enter into a one-year agreement with the Livonia Educational Administrators, which agreement has been ratified by LEADS members. Said contract is to commence on July 1st, 2016, and expire June 30th, 2017.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. McDonald, supported by Mr. Centers. And Mr. Winery, would you like to address
Thank you.
for us?
The Board of Education, through its designated representatives, has been meeting with representatives from this bargaining unit, and a one-year agreement has been reached between the parties, and staff recommends that the board approve the tentative agreement, which has been ratified by this bargaining unit insofar as it represents a fair settlement and is consistent with the guidelines established by the Board of Education.
Thank you. Are there questions or comments from the board members? No. Alrighty. Again, we thank our administrators for all the work that they do and the negotiating teams that had to come to the table and make sure that we had a fair settlement with our folks. Mr. Keith McDonald is here from Leeds this evening, and after we vote on this, Keith will be coming up to sign and share well wishes with one another. Any other questions or comments from the board? Alrighty, we have a motion by Mrs. McDonald, supported by Mr. Centers. Mr. Johnson, will you please take the roll?
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Centers?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson says yes. Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
President Burton?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. And Keith, did you join us?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Keith. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Keith. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
The next item on our agenda is item 5, approval of contract LPA. May I have a motion, please?
President, go ahead.
Ms. Jarvis.
Mrs. Jarvis?
President Burton.
Yes.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the agreement reached with the Livonia Paraprofessionals Association to amend the terms of the current collective bargaining agreement between the parties, effective July 1st, 2016.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mrs. McDonald. Mr. Winery, can you address this item for us, please?
Yes, I can, thank you. I note that in this particular case, this is a wage reopener for the second year of a two-year standing collective bargaining agreement. The board, through its representatives, has been meeting with this bargaining unit and representatives from the unit pursuant to wage and health insurance reopener for the 2016-2017 contract year. That tentative agreement has been ratified by the parties, and the staff recommends that the board approve this tentative agreement insofar as it represents a fair settlement and is consistent with the guidelines which you've laid out.
Thank you. Are there questions or comments from the board? Mr. Centers?
I just want to comment on all three employee groups right now and just say that when we go into schools and when I personally go into schools, I see that the buildings are beautiful and well-maintained. We see that parents and kids and ourselves, we're all treated with tremendous respect. There's just a real pride in LPS, and it's just a great thing to see. So seeing our employee groups have a contract, being ready to go, is very fortunate for us and something I appreciate a lot. So thank you for all your hard work, everyone.
Thank you. Questions or comments from other board members? Likewise, thank you for all the work that our paraprofessionals do. It's easier said than done some days. But it is very appreciated, as with all of our employee groups. It literally is an organization that could not function without the tasks that each of our employee groups perform. And they are so varied, but they are so very important. It's very appreciated. Thank you very much. After the vote, I'd like, if we do have Peggy Fallows and Cindy Ignash here from our paraprofessionals group, and I know there's not a contract to sign, but if you'd like to come up, we would like to personally thank you also. We have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mrs. McDonald. Mr. Johnson, will you please take the roll?
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mrs. McDonald?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson says yes. Mr. Centers?
Yes.
President Burton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And Mrs. Fallows and Ms. Ignash, if you'd like to come on up, we'd like to say our personal thank yous. Thank you.
Thanks for your hard work.
The others are here, come on up too. Good, terrific, hello.
Thank you. Have a good summer.
Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you.
Have a good summer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good summer.
We miss Tony.
Come on, Tony.
Come on.
You're welcome.
Don't miss the party, bud.
Well done, my man.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That's my man.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, dear. You too. Thank you. You're welcome.
It's usually Tony.
Mrs. Oquist, would you like to?
I would. I'd just like to spend a few minutes just about each of our groups. So I'm going to start with our Paraprofessionals Association. I believe you're about 300 strong, is that right, Peggy? 250? And we have paraprofessionals serving in literally every corner of our district. In our transportation department, in our special education department, working one-on-one, and in our center classrooms. And I have to tell you, I know many of you have visited many of the programs where we have paraprofessionals working each and every day with our kids. They serve in such an integral role and probably work as closely as anyone directly with our students. They work tirelessly. They represent our district directly with parents, with teachers, and again, most importantly, one-on-one in many cases with our students. So we are very pleased. I know that this isn't technically a contract, but a wage reopener. We're very, very pleased. We know that your team worked very hard and took a lot of time over and above your normal workday to work with our bargaining team, and we appreciate all of your efforts and are very pleased to be bringing this forward to the board tonight. So thank you to you and all of your team. We know how important you are to LPS. So I want to spend a minute with SEALS. We've got a great representation here tonight. You also had a bargaining team that worked very hard, did a lot of research, spent a lot of time with our team. And these are the faces of our schools in many cases. So certainly some of our supervisors work in other departments and represent our district. But these are the faces that our kids and our parents see every day as they enter our schools. And for any of you who have served as a principal, you know your building supervisor is truly, truly a right-hand person. So Tony and I go way back. We've been worked at many, many schools together, and certainly all of the folks here tonight. But your entire group, you represent LPS so proudly, and we are so pleased to have this agreement with you this evening. So thank you. Finally, our leads group. Keith, you're here this evening. Many colleagues. I know we had spent some time together on Friday and celebrated the end of the school year at our leads luncheon, where you honored not only some of our current members, but we saw many of our retired leaders coming back to the district and talking about their time with one another and their time as part of LPS. We have some significant initiatives in our district. One of the most important is our climate and culture work. So you've been an important part of that, and all of the leaders of our school are the ones who are truly those soldiers carrying out that work. So we're grateful to you. We're very, very pleased to be bringing this agreement forward and head off into the summer with this. So I just wanted to make a quick note about each of our groups. You each play a unique and important role in making LPS who we are. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there questions or comments from any other board members?
Thank you. Thank you so much for all you do.
And especially the teams, the bargaining teams. It's a lot of work, a lot of time. I want to acknowledge Mr. Winery, Miss Abby. We have some other members of our administrative staff who work on those teams, but the two of them are the mainstays for each of our groups, and so we appreciate their efforts very, very much.
Absolutely. The board members have paper documentation. If we can hand that back in, I would appreciate it. Thank you. We thought a week or so ago that we had our last meeting of the summer, but it does look like this is our last meeting of the summer. We'll take about a month hiatus as far as board members go. Many of our employees continue with their work right on through the summer. Certainly our central office, our building administrators. Those who are working in our buildings are at times working harder during the summer than they are during the school year. So we certainly appreciate it. Again, to those who are driving around our community, if you see chaos going on outside a few of our buildings, and I've gotten a couple emails this week saying, what's happening in front of, Holmes or Stevenson or whatever. If you see a lot of activity and a lot of work being done outside our buildings, that's because there's much, much more being done inside our buildings. We are taking on our third phase of our bond work. We are eternally grateful to our community for supporting the bond that makes our learning environment so much better and so much safer for our students and for our staff, and increases our property values for all of us who live in our community. So if you're driving around and you're seeing all that rubble outside of buildings, know that there's all kinds of great stuff going on inside. If you'd like to take a look at what the end result is, take a look at some of our buildings where you see a large arch with the name of the building over it. You can tell those are the renovated buildings, and it's a nice branding throughout the whole district that we can identify those LPS buildings quickly at a glance. And like I said, you can definitely tell which ones have been renovated. If you have not had the opportunity and you'd like to see what's going on inside some of those buildings that have had renovations done, please don't go into the ones that are being worked on right now because there are safety issues, there are hard hat law, rules and so forth. Don't go in those yet. But if you are in the neighborhood of one of the buildings that does have one of the large arches over it with the name of the building, make it a point to stop in, give the principal a call, see if you can stop in and take a look around. You will be amazed at the before and after of what's gone on in our buildings. And again, we are just so grateful to our community for supporting that bond to make our buildings so much better for our whole school community. We have nothing else on our agenda this evening. I wish you all a wonderful, happy, and safe summer, and we'll see you back in about a month. We are now adjourned. Thank you.